In this video, I explain the process of creating Veefriends fan art and take you behind the scenes. For those who are unfamiliar with Veefriends, it is Gary Vee's NFT project, a meaningful intellectual property and an extraordinary community, as Gary Vee refers to it. I'll include a link to them in the description below, and I highly encourage you that you check them out. So to the concept. By just looking at this cute guy, first thing that comes to my mind is he wants to go to space. And how would he do that? A freaking rocket. Deciding that, I started creating a rough composition. Whilst doing that, here are a few things I kept in mind. First, I wanted to include a rocket. Second, a moon. Of course, makes sense. Third, a meerkat is pointing at the moon. Like I didn't want it to change his pose. I started tracing the shape. Pen tool comes in handy as it's pretty precise for tracing curves. Then, I started shape blocking different elements of the rocket on different layers. This helps as I can ladder add textures and lighting effects on particular element using clipping mask and other elements aren't affected by it. That way you ensure that effects you are applying are non-destructive. I changed the shape of fin. I'm not trying to make it exactly like line art. Line art just serves me as a reference, and most of the time I make changes based on my gut feeling. As long as it's not terrible, I'm okay with it. For people wondering where's the door, let's call it artistic freedom and get away with it. Once shape blocking for rocket was done, I started adding textures and blending them. So this first texture was pain in the ass. I wanted to make it red, but it was blue. And I tried using hue saturation, changing bending mode to luminosity, and many other things. It still didn't work. So I tried another texture, and damn, I loved it. So now repeating the process to whole thing. Adding texture, morphing texture, blending texture. Once textures were done, it was time to add some shadows to make the things look 3D. There are various ways you can add shadows. I just used brightness and contrast adjustment layer. I inverted the mask and painted with white wherever I wanted the shadows, and black where I didn't want them. Again, using adjustment layers with layer mask is recommended as effects are non-destructive and flexible. I started adding highlights by painting with the light shade and setting the blending mode on overlay. This is just how I like to add highlights. I felt something was missing in the rocket and I just added a couch in the rocket. Don't know why, but yeah, we're doing this. And we are done with the rocket. Now to this meerkat. I usually do shape blocking for the characters too, just like I did with the rocket. But here I thought we can just use the stock image and adjust it accordingly. I brought in a meerkat stock image in Photoshop. I used quick selection to cut out his body. Anyway, started morphing the body according to my reference. Then I used a grass brush to create a fur effect. I used it as an eraser. Not really recommended to do it like that. I just know that I can get away with it. For his adorable face, I just started using the face from same stock image. I just transformed it to look like my reference. This was a lot of trial and error, especially getting the eyes right was something I was worried about. Most of stuff was done, but something still felt missing, so I added a dashboard to the ship. I now started adding some light on Meerkat as it was looking a bit off. Working on the sky full zoom does give it the creeps. I added two different lights, blue and orange. This is an easy way to create a visual contrast. After adding those lights, the meerkat was looking less off. I then added some lights to the rocket. It was just looking empty to me, that's all. Now let's put these things in an environment. I started off by plotting the land. I wanted it to look barren, and I added a dark blue sky. That was the feel I was going for, and I then added the moon. Again, Rocket just felt boring just standing there. So let's add some fire. Quite literally.